class. This is class by Raj, teaching for Physics Form 6 Semester 2. Today's lesson is about Hall effect. The learning outcome for today's lesson is to explain Hall effect and derive an expression for the Hall voltage. Whenever we place a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field, there's a deflection of the charge carriers due to the influence of the magnetic field in the conductor body. This phenomena, in which a transverse voltage is set up in the conductor carrying current in a magnetic field, is called as a Hall effect. Edwin Hall in 1879 had first observed this, and that is the reason it is named after his name. The Hall effect is due to the nature of the current in a conductor, and the voltage set up, which is a transverse voltage, is known as the Hall voltage.
Today's lesson is about Hall effect. So the learning outcome, as usual, is to explain what is a Hall effect. Okay, now Hall effect, alright, is a phenomena. Okay, it's not a law, it's not a concept, but it's a phenomena. Okay, in which a transverse voltage means a voltage that is set across, okay, is set up in a conductor carrying a current. So we have a conductor carrying a current in a magnetic field. That means if we put a conductor carrying current in a magnetic field, okay, just assume this is a magnetic field. A phenomena happens where a voltage is set up, and the voltage is called as Hall voltage. So when you put a conductor carrying current into a magnetic field, there's something happens in the conductor where a voltage is set up, and that particular voltage is given a special name which is called as an Hall voltage, which is VH. Okay, so I'm going to explain this example here in this diagram here. Okay, now here, alright, so this is the figure 16.22 which I'm going to explain. Alright, now what is the first thing happens here? Okay, now let's look at A. What do you see, class? Okay, hold on here. Okay, what do you see, class, for the first one? Now in this example A, we have a conductor carrying a current. Okay, this is a conductor carrying a current. Okay, it's a conductor carrying a current, and then is put inside a magnetic field. Okay, the current is I, is inside a magnetic field. So the magnetic field, which is the value is B. Okay, alright, so what happens, class? Now here we are going to look at the positive charge, because the example says this is a p-type semiconductor. Okay, this is a what? A p-type semiconductor. A p-type semiconductor means that the number of holes, that is the positive charge carriers, the number of holes is greater than the number of electrons. Okay, the number of positive charge carrier is greater than the number of negative charge carriers. So then that's the reason why we have a positive charge carriers here. The example can change, class. It can also be a negative charge carrier. It all depends on the type of example of conductor that is being used. Okay, right, so the first thing happen is when we have a positive charge carriers inside the conductor carrying current, what will happen is that this positive charge carriers, which is drifting with a velocity v, okay, with a velocity v, will be exerted by a force. Okay, the first concept is the positive charge carriers, okay, will, which I'm going to put positive E, yeah, will be exerted by a force. will be exerted by a force. Okay, what force is it? It is a magnetic force because the conductor carrying current is inside the magnetic field. So it will be exerted by a force which is a magnetic force. Okay, which is a magnetic force. Now this magnetic force which will be exerted on the positive charge carriers, right, the magnitude of the magnetic force will be F equals to BeV. Okay, but the direction, this is the magnitude, yeah. The direction, how we want to determine the direction? The direction is determined by using our Fleming left hand rule. So when I look at this example here, the B is going into the page. I take my Fleming left hand rule, okay, my left hand rule. So this is force, this is the B, okay, this is the I. Okay, so if I look here, but I'm not going to use I because I'm going to look at this particular positive charge carrier. So I'm going to use FBV. FBV. So FBV, the B is going into the page and the V is this direction. So the magnetic force is upward. Okay, so that is why the magnetic force is upward. Okay, all right. So next, what will happen is the positive charge carriers inside the magnetic field will be exerted by a force, and this magnetic force, the direction is upward. So when the positive charge carriers is flowing here, this magnetic force will make the positive charge carriers to be deflected upward. So everything will move upward. The positive charge carriers will go upward. So what I can say, number 2 is, I'm going to write here, number 2, I'll say that the magnetic force Fm will deflect the positive upward. Okay, it will deflect the positive charge carrier upward or to the upper edge. Okay, or to the upper edge. Upper edge means this edge. I'm talking about this edge here. Okay, so I'm going to use what color? Let me see. Okay, this edge. Okay. Alright. Okay, so what happens here? All the positive charge will start to accumulate here. Okay, all the positive charge will start to accumulate here, to the upper edge. Okay, so then equivalent amount of negative charge carriers will be left on the lower edge. Okay, so I can put number 3 here. Okay, equivalent negative charge will be left in the lower edge. Okay, so in this lower edge we will have what? We will have negative charge carriers, which I'm going to draw like this. Okay, which I'm going to draw like this. So all the negative charge carriers will start to be accumulating at the end here. Okay, not accumulating lah, because all the positive goes here. What is left behind down here will be the negative charge carriers. Okay, alright. So once when there's a positive and there's a negative, what will happen is separation of the charge. Okay, this is the separation of the charge, correct? This is the separation of the charge, which I'm going to draw here. Separation from the positive to the negative. So this is the separation of the charge, which here is small b, correct? Small b. Okay, the separation of the charge produce an electric field. So when here is positive and here is negative, the next thing what's going to happen is an electric field will be produced. Okay, electric field produced, even though I put there Fe, why? Because when an electric field is produced from the positive to the negative, okay, which I'm going to draw here with the ruler. Okay, right? When the electric field is produced from the positive to the negative, okay, I'm going to draw with a green color pen. Okay. Okay, this one is electric field, yeah, not electric force, electric field, which is E. E will be produced. Okay, so the electric field will be produced from the positive to the negative. Then what will happen? Electric force will be exerted, and electric force and Fe will be exerted upon the positive charge carriers. And electric force will be exerted on the positive charge carriers. Okay, so then you will realize that this one will start to have a positive Fe. So the direction of Fe will be here, because this is positive, so the direction of Fe will be towards the negative. Okay, so again I explain, when all the charges accumulate on top, equivalent amount will be in bottom. So then an electric field is produced. Okay, E is produced. When E is starting to produce, what will happen is an electric force will be exerted upon on the positive charge carriers. And based on that concept is, the more the FM, the more the positive charge carriers go on top, the more the negative charge carriers accumulate at the edge here. And the more the the more the Fe will start to increase. Fe will start to increase until Fe equals to Fm. Okay, now before that I want to tell something first. When we know E is equals to VH over B, from the formula of E is equals to V over D. Okay, so E is the electric field, which is E, and then what will happen is, this is the separation B, so we know when there's a V, when there is an E, there is a V set up in between these two H. Okay, so there is a voltage that is set up between these two H, and that voltage is called as Hall voltage. Okay, then as the E increases, the VH also increases until Fe is equals to Fm. And when Fe is equals to Fm, what will happen, class? When Fe is equals to Fm, Fe is QE over BQB. Okay, which I'm going to put here positive E over B EV. Why I put positive E is because I started with positive E here. Okay, all right, from this concept. All right, so E, what is capital E? VH over B. BEV. Okay, this is velocity, yeah. So this E and this E we can cancel, so we get VH equals to BBV. Okay, all right, then next, I, current, I equals to Vena. Okay, drift velocity, charge of an electron, number of charge per unit volume, and area. Okay, so then what happened is, we substitute V equals to I over E and A. We substitute inside here, we get VH is equals to B, V is I, E and A. Alright, now what is area, class? Area is this portion here. This is the area, which is perpendicular to the flow of the current. Okay, so the area is B times D. B times D. Okay, so VH equals to B, I, E and A is B times D. So then we cancel the B, we get VH is equals to capital B, I, and then I would like to write here N. be N. Okay, by N. Alright, so this will be the formula for Hall voltage. Alright, you have to be very careful with the Hall voltage and the formula. You must understand why there is a D here. Okay, there's a D, but because of interpretation, that's why you have a D. But actually by concept, what is the concern here is the B. Okay, so when you actually understand the concept, you will start from the beginning when you solve a Hall voltage. So you will see the past years, it's a bit like they want you to understand, really understand the concept. It's not about so much about the formula. Okay, from here we can make three conclusions. In order to increase the VH, we want to increase the VH, we can increase the B. That means we can increase the magnetic flux density. The more we increase the magnetic flux density, the more we increase our Hall voltage, or the voltage that is set up inside the current carrying conductor. And then another one more, if we want to increase the VH, we can also increase the I. Okay, we increase the I. If we increase the current, we increase the Hall voltage. And the next one, if you want to increase the VH, you decrease the 1 over N. So number of charge per unit volume is lesser. Okay, is lesser. That is the reason N, which is less, is always for semiconductor. Okay, that's why in semiconductor the VH is greater compared to in the metal. In the metal or in the conductor, the N is number of charge carriers per unit volume is greater. That's why the VH is lesser. Okay, so this is the lesson class for today about Hall voltage.
The next learning outcome for today's lesson is to state the application of the Hall effect. There are two applications of the Hall effects. The Hall effect can be used to determine the sign of charge carriers in a conductor. Here we have two diagrams, two pieces of conductor, one with the positive charge carriers and the other one is a negative charge carriers. The direction of the current in both the diagram are the same, and same also the direction of the magnetic field is also the same. The Hall voltage produced in a conductor with the positive charge carriers has a positive potential at the top and a negative potential at the lower edge. A sensitive zero galvanometer will be deflected in the direction shown. The Hall voltage produced in a conductor with the negative charge carriers has a negative potential at the top and a positive potential at the lower edge. So when the galvanometer is connected in the same way, the deflection of the galvanometer is in the opposite direction. Therefore, from the polarity of the Hall voltage produced in a conductor, the sign of the charge carriers can be determined. A Hall probe is a device that uses a calibrated Hall effect sensor to directly measure the strength of a magnetic field. Hall probe is a small piece of semiconductor layer. Since magnetic fields have direction as well as magnitude, the results from a Hall probe are dependent on the orientation as well as the position of the probe. To measure the magnetic flux density between two magnets, the flat surface of the probe must be directed between the magnet. So, the magnetic field line passes completely perpendicular to the surface. The probe is connected to a voltmeter to measure the Hall voltage. And we know that the Hall voltage is directly proportional to the magnetic flux density. If the probe is not held in the correct orientation, which is perpendicular to the field line, the voltmeter reading will be reduced. A Hall probe is sensitive enough to measure even the Earth's magnetic flux density.